Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to see one important concept in Kubernetes, which is taints and tolerations. So first of all, let's see what is taints and what is toleration. So let me explain you that with diagram. For example, you have two nodes, node 1 and node 2, and you created one pod. So this pod can sit on node 1 or it can sit on node 2. So depending on scheduler, you'll just schedule it either on node 1 or node 2. But what you want to do is you want this node 1 for dedicated for one of the application. Say you want to have that node for app is equal to blue, right? So only pod which are for that application app is equal to blue should sit on node 1. It should not accept any other pod. So how you can do that? So you can do that with taint and tolerations. So taints are associated with nodes, right? And tolerations are associated with pods. Okay. So what you will do is you add taint to your node 1. Say you just make it app is equal to blue as a taint, and we'll see it in practice so you will understand it better. It's a little tricky to understand this concept, but for now just hear me out and then we'll see it in demo, right? So you added a taint which is app is equal to blue, and then now you want to create a pod. You just created a pod without anything, no tolerations associated with it, and it just say, okay, this node has a taint as app is equal to blue and we don't have toleration for pods. Okay, so this will be scheduled on node 2. That's how this works. But now you want this pod to be created on node 1, or just understand it like this. You want node 1 to accept only pod which has toleration app is equal to blue, right? So you added toleration to this and you made it app is equal to blue as a toleration. So when this comes here, it will say, okay, it has a toleration which is app is equal to blue, and it allows that. So node 1 is now allowing pod on node 1 because it has toleration of app is equal to blue. But mind you, like if you have toleration app is equal to blue, it does not make this pod not sitting on node 2. Node 1 allows this pod to be accepted, but still node 2 also can allow this because node 2 doesn't have any toleration taint. So whatever pod is created, it can sit on that node 2. And this pod, it can even sit on node 2 or node 1. So you are not restricting pod to sit on node 1 or node 2, but you are restricting node to accept certain pod. So understand this very clearly. Toleration and taints are working only from node perspective. So node is allowing certain pods or it is not allowing certain pods, but does not affect pod in any way of not sitting into node 2, right? If you want pod to be sitting on a particular node for sure, then you need to use node affinity. We'll see node affinity in later videos. You want this pod to be sitting on node 1 every time, then you need to have this node affinity associated with this pod or multiple pods, like set of pods. Hope this concept is clear so far, and we'll see it in demo, so that will be clearer to you. I'm sure you will appreciate it more when you see it in action. Here I added app is equal to blue as a toleration. If I remove this toleration, then obviously it will accept any pod, even it will accept app is equal to blue. Okay, so you can see that this is just a generic pod creation labels, and this is taint and toleration is nothing to do with labels. Just I have given some generic label to pod which is app is equal to blue, and we are calling it as a application blue, right? So this is one YAML file, and second is with tolerations. So I have added this toleration which says key operator value effect. Key app operator is equal, value is blue, and effect is no schedule, and we'll talk about effect in a bit. So for now, just understand that this is a pod with toleration, and pod name is NGINX T, and pod without toleration is NGINX. So now let me create a tent or associate tent with node 01. So here get nodes. Node names are a little different because I'm using Minikube. So this node I want to have toleration added. First of all, how to check whether toleration is already there or not. So you can describe it, and there you can see tents associated with the node. So here tent is already associated with this node because I have done it before. But let me show you, even as part of this, right, you can understand how to delete tent from the node. So for now you can see the tent is associated or tent added to the node, but I'll remove that. Tent node. Cube, and then I'll just give this complete tent and just minus. If you see, it says untented. You can just remember this, like this is like when you create a tent, you will create tent with this command, kubectl tent node name, and then key value, and then effect, right? So here, and while removing this, exact same command and dash, and k here I created alias for kubectl, so it makes easy to type it. So now if you see same tent, you don't see anything, like it says none. So no tents are allocated with that. So now, or associated with the node. So now let me create tent. As I said, like it is the exact same command without minus at the end. So when I create this tent, you can see that it said it's like node is tented, and when I check tent, it has it, right? App is equal to blue, no schedule. So now let me create a node. Let me create pods. So no pods are created. So now I am creating a pod without any toleration. So create pod. Okay, so it created a pod. Let's see where it's scheduled. So you can see that there is no node for NGINX to place it there. So scheduler is not able to find any node because one is control plane. It is not accepting any pods, and that is the best practice. Like you are not putting any application pods in on control plane, so it's not accepting anything. And second, we tented it, saying that only accept if it is part of application blue. So this is not having any nodes to put your pods. So now, and you can see reason. Somebody asks you why it is pending status, right? You should be able to answer that, and what you can do is just describe this particular pod and see the reason. So failed scheduling, and out of 2 nodes, 0 are available. One node had untolerated 10, app is equal to blue, and one node had untolerated 10. This is control plane. So control plane is not accepting anything, and one node which we already have, we have it, but we already have a tent associated, right? So that's the reason it's not able to create any pod on that particular node. So again, this NGINX pod is pending. Still, it will not able to allocate for sure. So let's create another pod with toleration, and I have shown it earlier that this pod has toleration. So get pods. See, this is running, and you can see which node it is created on, right? So it is created on Minikube M02, which has this tent, and the reason it allowing it to create is because we have toleration for this particular pod. So if I say describe pod ng-annex t and just see tolerations. You can see it has toleration. We can just remove the taint, right? So we have seen the command how we can remove it. It's exact same command which we use for creating taint, and just like dash or hyphen at the end, and it will remove taint. So now taint is removed. Let's see what happens to that pod. Great. So you can see that ng-annex also scheduled. Format for creating a taint, it is key value, and then effect, no schedule. So I told you, like, I'll show you different options for this effect. Key value is easy to understand, then colon no schedule is a effect. So what does that mean is, when you are putting this taint on the node, don't allow any pod to be scheduled except when it has toleration, right? And other value for it is, let me go here, I'll write down here, key value and then effect, right? So this is a format for putting taint. We have seen this. So now what are the different values for the effect? One is no schedule, then prefer no schedule, and no execute. And we'll talk each one of them. The no schedule, we talked about it. When you are putting this taint on node, then it's not allowing any pod which is not having that particular toleration. Prefer no schedule is like, try not to put pod on the node if doesn't have same toleration, but if doesn't find any other node to schedule itself, then please put it on node even when it has taint. No execute is, don't schedule any pod without toleration. At the same time, if there are existing pods on this particular node, before we add taint, then even delete those pods. So if I create taint with let me create with prefer no schedule, right? And I'll delete or get pods, right? Just let me delete this ng-annex, delete pod ng-annex, right? This is a YAML file we are using, and it doesn't have any toleration. And now we have added toleration taint, which is app is equal to blue, prefer no schedule. Earlier, if you see, when we are having effect as no schedule, it doesn't allow it. We saw like it was ng-annex was pending. Let's see what happens now. -f create pod, yeah, it created pod, and you can see it got scheduled, right? Because it's like just preferring, and we don't have any other node to schedule this pod. So scheduler just look at it, and it says even though node 1 has this particular taint, but it's saying prefer no schedule, so it is little milder. So okay, just put pod there because we don't have any other node to put our pod. And in case of no execute, let's see if I can show you that as well. So let me remove no schedule from there and add no execute. No execute. We know like ng-annex doesn't have any toleration. ng-annex -t has a toleration of blue. So let me see. Get pods. Get pods. And reason is the toleration does not match taint on the node. Okay, I want to show you one more scenario with no execute. I want to show you 3 YAML files now and explain one more scenario with no execute. So just cement our learning on that, right? That's the reason. So there is no toleration on this pod. Then it has one more pod which has toleration of no schedule. And last one is toleration with effect as no execute. Everything else remains the same. And first of all, let me remove taint, which is no execute on from this particular node. So taint not found. Okay, it's already removed. Okay, I just want to show it again. Okay, right, so we removed that, so there is no taint on this node now. So if I go ahead and create these 3 pods, it should allow us to create. So first pod is created, then second pod is created with no execute, then let me create the last one. Okay, error when creating pod because nginx-t already exists. Oh, we haven't changed name for the pod. Okay, let me just go here and just add some suffix to it, like c. Okay, execute. So I'll just repeat the same command and it should allow us to create. Okay, that's it. So if you see pods, all should be created and they are running in minikube-m02 as a node, right? Because there is no toleration or taint on this particular node. Now let me add taint of no execute. Okay, so I'm adding taint which is no execute, and pay closer attention to this. And now taint is added. So let's see what happened with our pods. You can see other 2 pods are destroyed. One nginx, which is like doesn't have any toleration, nginx-t, which has toleration but it is of no schedule, and then nginx-t-e, which we created with correct toleration, which is matching with the taint, which is no execute. So this makes it very clear which pod it will keep and which pod it will delete when you are putting taint of no execute on your node. And I showed you how the behavior with the effect of no schedule, prefer no schedule, and no execute. You should make it very clear for you. The differentiation is subtle, but it should make it very clear for you after seeing this tutorial. If you have any doubts, please watch it again, but I think like it should be clear. And if you still are not clear for something, just please put comment and we can talk more on that. Thank you. Thanks. That's it for now, and thanks for watching. Thank you. Hope you learned something new today. If so, please like this video, share, leave your comment so that I know this content is helping you. Don't forget to subscribe, and that's now. Okay, see you again with yet another exciting tutorial about AWS. Keep learning, keep sharing what you learn, and thanks for watching.